Now, my ALS journey started in December of 2014. I'd been a morning jogger for 30 years. I was out for a run with my son, and about every 15 steps, my left foot would catch. And I just couldn't figure out why. And then I went on the journey that most with ALS go on, from doctor to doctor, basically discounting every other possibility. And for us, the journey ended on November 5th, 2015, with the utterance of the words, "You have ALS." Now, this took us totally by surprise. I mean, how do you go from 37 years a cat with 2 sick days, from being on the doorstep of the possibility of maybe running one of the great companies in the world, to a diagnosis where they tell you we don't know the cause, we don't have a cure, and you probably have a 2 to 5 year window in terms of life. Now, we didn't bring you tonight to depress you. I've always been very pragmatic, and I quickly came to grips with this is the reality. So I turned to the doctor and I said, "So how do we fight this thing?" And he said, "Well, it doesn't quite work like that. You'll come back every 3 to 4 months. We'll measure your breathing and your strength. We'll get 3 to 4 data points. And after that, we'll be able to give you an estimate of how long you have." To which I replied, "That's just not how I work." With the great support of a loving family, of a tremendous network of friends, and the extended Caterpillar family, we've just decided to take this thing on head on. On the health front, I execute a disciplined 6-point protocol. I get my traditional care from Johns Hopkins. I spend time with a functional medicine doctor. I have an incredibly strict diet. I follow the Walls protocol. I do foundation training that focuses on the major muscle groups. I'm a big believer in acupuncture. And at the foundation of the protocol is a very strong faith supported by affirmations. Now, some in the traditional world of neurology will tell you that none of this matters and you just can't lose weight. But for me, it does matter. I refuse to believe, as the Gala outlines tonight, that there's not hope. And regardless of what path this journey takes me on, I forever want Ann and the kids to know I'm all in the battle versus ALS. Now, as Jeremy pointed out, we've also engaged in the broader world of ALS. We determined up front as a family we had an obligation, we had a duty to try to make a small difference in what is a tough disease. And while some would argue there's little hope, I disagree. You know, for example, if you go back 10 years ago and look at the way tools to support research have evolved at exponential rates, it gives me hope. In 2008, to do the sequencing of a single human genome, it cost $1 million and took 4.5 months. Today, it costs $1,000 and can be done in an hour. And I think tools like this are going to be key to unlocking the mystery of what is ALS. Major scientific breakthroughs in ALS laboratory techniques continue to give researchers better tools to use, including extracting blood and being able to grow my own motor neurons. Second, and perhaps the most important development in the world of ALS, is a far greater level of collaboration between the institutions in search of a cure. Answer ALS is just one example, with great collaboration from 8 institutions, including Johns Hopkins, Mass General, Cedars-Sinai, Ohio State, Emory, WashU, Texas Neurology, and Northwestern. I've been in the meetings with representatives from these institutions talking about how they drive a breakthrough in this disease, and you cannot tell what institution they work for. They're all focused on one thing: how do we get to the ultimate definition of winning? And that's finding a cure. I remain convinced that great innovation comes through great collaboration, and that collaboration is taking place in the world of ALS as we speak. Now, while ours is a challenging situation, I never, ever lose perspective. We have been so blessed. I also understand that our situation is not that much different than others. Life always throws a curveball. I'd be surprised if there's a single participant in tonight's event that at some point in time in your life, you haven't had to deal with the challenging times, be it the loss of a family member, a health issue, or something job-related. You know, the reality of it for all of us is that as those times happen, we'll never be measured by the event, the announcement, or even the diagnosis. We get measured by how we respond. And my intent is to stay strong. In closing, as I execute my daily protocol, I affirm that the Lord has created this day. Let us rejoice and give praise. He will look out over my family, and He will look out over me. I affirm that I play a leadership role in the world of ALS. There's no disease that's evolved that our Creator will not help in finding a cure. I increase awareness and raise investment, supporting those in search of a cure and those bringing better assistive technologies to those suffering from the disease. And I affirm that I win the battle versus ALS. I outlive my parents and my in-laws. I grow old with Ann. I walk my girls down the aisle, and I dance the father-daughter dance. I teach my grandkids to play golf, and I walk the course the first time Cole beats our son, Jay. Now, just for the record, Cole is our 2.5-year-old grandson. And while some think this affirmation is a bit of a stretch, Cole teaches me each and every day that anything is possible. Take a look.
I don't think you can reach any higher, bud. That might be as high as you can go. What do you think? You're gonna need some ankle implants.
You know, Ann and I live at 204 Edinburgh Drive, and Cole and his little brother Eli live at 308 Edinburgh Drive, and they're a huge part of my therapy. So just remember, as Cole showed you, anything is possible. There is hope, especially when you have the support and engagement of a bunch of people like you trying to make a difference. So on behalf of all ALS patients and the wonderful caregivers that are often overlooked, I thank you so much for tonight's recognition. It is something that will forever touch me and my family. Thank you.